Hello, everybody. So today's the day. I've decided that I'm going to tell the stories of my horrible Cosmo School in order as best as I can. It's been a few years, but I really want to tell the stories because they're hilarious. And this is going to be in segments. There's no way I could fit it all in one video. So today's story is going to be how I ended up there in the first place. So let's get started. Alright, so I'd be lying if I told you that cosmetology was my first choice as a profession, just because I had one of those families that basically told me that cosmetology is not a good enough pay grade and all that other crap, which is not true. If you want to do it, do it. I love my profession and I'm so glad that I have my certificate, and always tell people that they should get it if they want it. It's just amazing. I actually went to school after high school for veterinary science, but I had lost my mother in my senior year of high school, and I got her house, and I couldn't take care of this house and go to college at the same time. There was just no way. So I kind of needed something that I would enjoy and was quick, and I love doing nails and hair and all of that, so I figured, why not? Let's go find a Cosmo School. Quick and easy. It's not quick and easy, by the way, but it's much quicker than college. So that's the route that I went because I knew I would enjoy it, and it was faster than trying to finish school college-wise. On top of that, I was also having issues with relatives, particularly one relative. All my OG TikTokers that are here, you probably know who I'm talking about. We're still having issues, and I couldn't complete school with all the stress and anxiety that it's already coming from home. So this was the best route for me. So I did try to complete my veterinary science until I was late 19, early 20, and I just couldn't keep up. My grandma helped, but it just wasn't enough. I was too stressed. I couldn't focus. I was panicking at home. I was panicking at school. It was awful. So to Cosmo School I went. Now I will say I didn't really have the time to research, because if I did, I really don't think I would have picked this school. But I was pressed for time. I was pressed for getting a job and working because my grandma wasn't going to help with the bills for very much longer, which is reasonable. You know, it's not her house. She doesn't have to do that. So I just picked the best looking school that I could find, and it's really the only one I toured, which you definitely should take a tour of more than one school. That was my first mistake. Take several schools. Even if you have to cram it in a week or two, do it. Do it for your own sanity. You should go and look at every school that you physically can, because they can say a lot of pretty things on the phone, or they can email a lot of great attributes, but if you don't physically go and look, like, you're gonna miss something. Unfortunately for me, I didn't look deep enough at this school because the entrance, beautiful. You could tell that's where their money went, was the entrance, basically to fool you, I think. And they also hid Miss W. If you are from TikTok or you're an OG, you definitely know Miss W. I did not meet Miss W until I was already enrolled and in my first few classes, when it was already too late. My best advice for you is, if you can get away from the counselor, because they had a counselor at my school that gave me a tour. If you can get away from her, go ask the students, how they're liking their experience there. I was very, very honest about it. I hated it there. They're dirty, they're nasty, they look pretty on the outside, but when you start picking at certain details like their cleanliness and their staff's helpfulness on topics, you can definitely see where they're lacking. I also didn't ask enough questions. I should have asked which teachers were skilled most in certain things. None of my teachers at this school knew how to do acrylics or nails at all. They literally gave me a sheet of paper and said, go to town. And they gave us a dip kit. And that was it. Go to town. Well, I lied. They also gave us some acrylic and monomer, but that lasted for like a month and it was gone. And they never gave us any more. Another thing to look out for that I didn't is see what the teachers are doing. How are they interacting with the students? There was only one amazing teacher there. There was a good teacher too, but the amazing teacher, she was up and she was active and she was walking around asking if you needed help. And those are great signs. Miss W, on the other hand, would sit down and just do her thing if you could find her, if she wasn't smoking or smoking. Oh, yeah, she was a mess. Oh my gosh, what else? I am sure there's more, but I can't think of anything right now. I will pop up if I remember any other tips to get a better experience out of your Cosmo School, but that's all I can think of right now. So, when I first started going, I was so excited. I was so excited because I didn't know that the kit they were going to give us really was garbage. It was basically the bare minimum of what you needed to get through school, which is fine. Okay, but if I'm going to give my money to y'all, I want to make sure that what you said is in the kit and what the price for the kit is actually that price. I did not look good enough, and that kit had some holes. It really did. The brushes and the rollers and everything else in there, it wasn't all the same price like they were saying. For instance, they gave us an itemized list of what everything costs. So if we bought a set of combs for $25, that actual price of those combs was probably $15 or $20. They always docked just a little bit. And oh my gosh, halfway through my year, I realized why. Because there was a teacher in there that was acting funny with the money, honey, and actually there were several. Oh my gosh, why did I go here? JK, I know why, because I really didn't have a choice. I had already spent over 10 grand in there, and I really just needed to finish. Otherwise, I was gonna lose pretty much everything. I was gonna lose my house, I was gonna lose my car, I was gonna lose everything that I had or was given to from my mother, and that would just crush me. So I just decided I'm gonna stick with it as best as I can and just power through it, which I should not have, honestly. I should have gone somewhere else, but I was young and dumb and they were giving me a hard time about leaving, so I didn't. Speaking of leaving, before you sign any kind of contract, that's the number one question I should have asked. If I'm not satisfied with my school education or whatever, how am I able to opt out without losing all of my money? Unfortunately for me, this school pretty much made it so I couldn't get away from them. If I had quit, I would have been opting out and giving them over 10 grand, and I would have been in the hole for that. And that would be detrimental. No certificate, and I have no money to go to school again. That wasn't gonna happen. I couldn't do it. So I just stuck through it. That's why I say they're being funny with their money, because most schools would at least only take what you owe them, not the whole thing, but they had it in their contract to where you physically could not leave. You couldn't go to another school and take, let's say you completed half of it and you only had 5 grand left that you owed them because you haven't completed your education. They made it so you had to give them all of their money, which now that I'm thinking about it was probably illegal, but it's been almost 5 years now, so I don't think I'm getting that money back. But okay, let's say that I did do that. So let's say that I did do that. On top of all of that, as the weeks went by, I noticed they were pretty gross. They double dipped in their wax because some people just didn't know. We're in there to learn. Okay, fine. But you should replace that wax. They were so cheap though. They never replaced that wax. They didn't care if you double dipped as long as it wasn't noticeable, there was no hairs floating on top of the wax. They didn't care, which is nasty. On top of that, I started seeing roaches. Yes, big roaches, little roaches. You know, big roaches, ugh, they're still gross, shouldn't be there, but maybe because they're water roaches, there's not an infestation. We had both. We had little roaches, which more than likely is an infestation, which is disgusting. The kicker was I would bring that up to them and how they needed to fix that, and they basically just brushed me off every time. The only one that listened to me was Miss L. I love Miss L. Miss L, if you ever find my videos, I love you so much. You're a beautiful person and I would love to reconnect. But she was the only one that would listen, and I kind of feel bad because she really couldn't do anything. Nobody listened to her because she would bring up the issues, and if you bring up the issues, that means you got to fix the issues, and if you fix the issues, you're going to lose money, and they did not want to do that. The other teacher that was kind of cool, Miss C, now she was dead honest with me, and I do appreciate that. She basically eventually said to me, look, Claire, they don't care. They're not gonna fix it. You might as well just let it go because nothing's gonna change, which sucks. After about a couple months, I was pretty much done with it, but unfortunately, I knew I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't move. I couldn't switch schools or anything, so I was pretty much salty for the rest of the year. In fact, I had to go longer than a year because I needed mental breaks away from that place, honestly, and life happens. Which means, on top of what I already owed, if you miss a day, they still charge you extra for the days that you weren't there. So you can make up the days later, if that makes sense. So if you miss a day, they still charge you, but you have to come back another day to get those hours back. So basically they charge you ×2, which is dumb, but that's what they do. Keep in mind while I'm telling y'all this information, this just goes for the school that I went to, which is under new management. Just to let y'all know, I don't know how other schools run. This is just how this particular school is ran. And since they're under new management, I really can't disclose who it is because it is a new boss, it is a new system, and it is new people because all those people got fired for being a scam artist. So it might be completely different. That's the only reason I'm not disclosing this school. But anyway, that's pretty much how I got stuck at my crappy Cosmo school. That's how it all started, and those are just some warning signs that you should really watch out for. This does not go for every Cosmo school. I'm sure there are better ones out there. I was just in a bind, and I just had to get what I could, and it wasn't the cheapest, but it was close to the cheapest. So keep that in mind. If you are going to Cosmo school in the US, be ready to cough up at least 10 grand at least. I know the price of the school has gone up now though. I think it's like 15, maybe even 17 now. But that's it. That's all. I hope y'all have a good day. I hope you enjoyed my little tips and tricks, and keep in, the loop for the next one. Thank you guys. Bye.